It's a nonstop race from start to finish, covering over 3,000 miles across the country. And while top racers come from all over the world to compete in the race across America, the Colorado Springs area is home to one of only 10 Americans who've won it. Coming up next on Pedal the Springs, meet Erik Newsholme. Welcome and roll on in to Pedal the Springs podcast, where we banter about all things biking in Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak region. I'm your host, Torie Giffin, self-appointed ambassador for cycling in the Springs, and what I don't know about biking in this area, my friends do. And here are today's guests. I have Erik Newsholme. Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
It's so great to have you here. We've met a while ago, and it's about time I had you on the show.
Well, yeah, a local who did something pretty big.
That's amazing. And then I've known this guy forever as well, too. My friend, James Wieker. James, it's so great to have you on the show. I didn't even know that you were part of Erik's crew. This is amazing.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and we've got a few stories to tell. So,
well, you were his neighbor, and he roped you into this whole adventure, right?
Well, yeah, friends, yeah,
friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
which
amazing.
is cool. Yeah.
Well, welcome. Well, I mean, Colorado area, Springs area. What part of the Springs do you live in?
I live in Falcon.
In Falcon, and have you lived there for a long time, or
since 2016?
Since 2016, but you've been doing the race across America for how long?
I first made the decision in 2014 as a kind of a life epiphany, and I said, I'm going to take on the toughest bicycle race in the world. Well, for my 50th birthday, which is 2015.
50th birthday?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You rode across America for your 50th birthday.
I rode part of the way.
if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. But so what happened in 2015 then?
I was a rookie and the wheels fell off in Indiana. And so we had to make a heartbreaking decision to pull off the bike and call it a DNF. And we went back in 16, went a lot further. But it didn't work out. 180 miles to go, and the crew poured me in the van and said, we're not doing it anymore.
Why?
Severe sleep deprivation caught up to me, and I wasn't safe on the bike. It was dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then?
And then I crewed one of our crew members, Sarah Cooper. She's from Iowa.
Okay.
And during her race in Illinois, she was tired of talking about herself, and so she got on the radio and said, let's talk about you going back to the race and doing it right. And that set the bug, however many times doing it, for the 2021 race, so that I actually finished.
That you actually finished, but you not only actually just finished, you were top male, female.
I was the top male of the race, okay, which there's only 22 in the world who've done it, 10 Americans, like you said. And I was second overall.
Second overall.
2021 was the first time that a lady, Leila Goldstein from Canada, she actually was the overall winner.
So I think the way that you said it was that you were the top finisher of the Americans, male or female, right? Or
I was a top
finisher, male or female.
I was a top male winner.
Yes.
Okay, and also second overall on the podium.
That's amazing. How did that feel?
I went to finish my journey, which was on James's T-shirt and all my crew T-shirts, and just the way the race worked out, and just through doing what we're supposed to be doing, and some people falling off, I ended up being the lead male and the first American to win the men's side since 2003.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So let's go back a little bit, because I met you back in, what was it, like 2019, and we were at the Colorado Springs Bike Swap that's coming up again here soon, and you were you had a whole tent with what you were trying to do. And so what was the reason for being at that bike expo?
To try and educate people that there's more than what people normally do associate riding with. Colorado Springs is the home of USA Cycling, the Olympic tennis, the training venue. We have world champions, national champions, gold medalists, all alike. But ultra cycling and the race across America is not on anybody's radar. And it was there to educate people, to promote the race, promote what I was trying to do, get some interest in it, and take it from there till I was supposed to do the race in 20. Obviously,
COVID.
Right. And so I had to, for the fourth time, to get ready for this race, because I did 15 and 16, get myself ready for the 21 race.
So what do you like? What's the most surprising thing to you about the Race Across America, and what's the most surprising thing to other people? Because you said, I mean, we've talked about this. It's surprising how many Americans don't know about the Great American Race Across America.
Yes, I mean, when it started in 1982, it actually was televised. Wide World of Sports did a whole thing on it, and it got Emmys and stuff like that. But as time goes by, I mean, people's attention spans, they're just not there. Okay. And I mean, if there's a camera on me, it's like, oh, here's Erik, he's riding, and there's Erik riding. We're out there by ourselves. And so there's not the drama that we associate with sports and stuff like that. It's all driven from inside of us, each one who goes out there to do this race. And so part of it is trying to educate people, but there's those who ask and they really just can't understand. And those of us who try to explain, and we really have a hard time doing that.
So, I mean, I think I've seen it compared to like the Tour de France. I mean, this is longer than the Tour de France, and you don't get to stop and rest overnight.
No, there's a dig against the Tour, as they say, no Tour. So I did the distance of the Tour de France, which is 2,100 miles, the Giro and the Vuelta, the three well-known races. I did those in 8 days.
Wow.
And I still had 900 miles to go on my race. They get 21 days to do their race with 2 days off. When we start, the clock never stops.
Right.
And, James was there. He could see it and he could talk about it. 288 hours, 12 days. That's it.
And I don't even know how you figure out how to sleep when this is a competition. Are you the one in charge of making him sleep?
So that was a team effort. You have we have a team crew leader who's really trying to put together his sleep schedule, when we're going to pick up certain food stops, things of that nature. So he really coordinates that. And so you actually have two vehicles, crew vehicles, that are with him all times. One's the follow vehicle, and then the other one's a resupply vehicle. So I was part of the resupply vehicle, and when the follow vehicle would peel off, we would come in and sub in and be the follow vehicle to protect Erik from other cars and stuff like that. So,
because lots of people, well, I mean, I think lots is anything one or more, right? Lots of people have died doing this.
Less than a handful.
Okay.
I mean, there's been more that died in the Tour de France than have in the Race Across America, and it's been going on since 1903. Okay.
But it is dangerous going on roads that everybody's driving on.
There are open roads, and so that's why the follow vehicle, the vehicles are there to protect you for safety, and so it's very paramount, But things happen, yes, but things happen in sport all the time.
And things happen on the road all the time.
Yes.
I mean, it's just tough out there. So what does this look like? I mean, like, you start out day one, California. Walk me through the journey. And how long does it take to train? I mean, let's start from there.
As far as...
Like, when you're getting ready for this, what is your training time and schedule? And how do you get your crew up and ready? Since we got James here from your crew to talk about that.
Well, the Race Across America is a little different than a lot of other things, because me as a racer, I'm kind of like the CEO of a corporation. I'm responsible for not only myself in training, but also the infrastructure of the crew, the vehicles, the logistics. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on. And so part of the logistics of the crew is what I call the infrastructure of the race, where people you meet along the way, either through racers, other races, like James, through mutual friends, stuff like that, you start recruiting people to fill certain roles in the crew.
How many crew do you have?
10.
Oh, that's even more than I thought. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we have 3 vehicles, 10 crew members, and each crew member has a specific job. Okay. The follow car has a driver, navigator, and a caretaker. And then the gopher vehicle, which James was in, is the support or the auxiliary follow, while the main follow is getting taken care of, switching crew, fixing flat tires. We had 2 flat tires where the vehicle was at Walmart getting new tires.
Really?
But our race never stopped because of the way we had set up the crew.
Like your pit crew.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And then so the crew, they're basically taking care of me the whole way. So all I have to do is do the race. The training, somebody asked me after the first time I said I'm going to do the race. I said, how long have you been training for the race? And this was about 6 months after I made my official announcement. And I said, about 6 months. He said, no. He said, you've been training for the race across America your whole life. You just didn't know it until you really came to you. So, I've been a cyclist all my life, and was in the Atlanta riding scene, and we did a lot of really intense rides. But then I took on the race across America. So we had a group to show up to Century's 100-mile rides, and our motivation was to do 4 hours. And so I was with the lead group the whole time. And after we get done, I would go out and do another full lap. Another 100 miles. Those were training rides.
Oh my goodness! I just
it doesn't register.
Yeah, I've done a few hundreds.
Right.
A few hundreds in my time. I did my most recent last year, I think. But
right.
But I've done a few of them, and I can't imagine 200 in a day, let alone that's just your training ride. So how critical? I mean, I always just think about the actual racer, and I don't ever think about the people in the cars and on the team. But how critical is your team to you winning?
They're critical. I mean, and I'll just put out there, case in point was when we came into Cortez, Colorado, the third day, which should lead into Durango. We're out of the desert and stuff like that. And actually, I went to the hospital in the emergency room in Cortez, and they thought I had rhabdomyolysis, which is pretty bad. Did the test and came back out. What I actually had was chronic exertion compartment syndrome. So my legs are trying to explode. And mentally I was cooked, body was cooked. I was looking at the clock. I knew where I was supposed to be, and I wasn't there. And I was ready to give up. And the crew got in my face, and they chewed some of my butt and left it there in that gas station. And they called my man card and everything under the book and stuff like that. And they said, we don't care. Get on that bike, work this stuff out, and go east. And
what did the doctor say?
The doctor said, he was like, rest and recovery is what you need. I'm like, I don't have time for that. And, my brain is just fried. But they, it was, there was a little bit of time off the bike and stuff like that. And the recovery was there. I cried from Cortez to Durango. They put me in a hotel room for 90 minutes, and I was in my Normatec recovery boots and got out of there, got a shower, fresh kit, the whole 9 yards. And then from there, we went from Durango to the top of Wolf Creek Pass.
Are you recording this at all? Do you guys video? Do you have a video crew with you?
I did not have a crew. Everybody took pictures.
Yeah.
James was good about taking pics and videos, and his daily, summation of his day in the crew, day one through, all that. Other crew members took video and pics, and the RAAM media took some interviews and stuff like that. And a couple of viral ones were me crossing out of Arizona into Utah. And it was the most brutal year on record. It was 125 to 130 degrees during the day. And as I'm crossing out of Arizona to Utah, the RAAM Video's crew is right here next to me. And they're filming and interviewing and stuff like that. And I did a play on Taylor Swift's song. I said, I am never, ever, ever, never, ever coming back to Arizona to ride my bike ever again.
I'm from Arizona. I've trained in the summer doing, RAAM before, and riding in the heat of summer, trying to get in miles, and it's pretty dang miserable. It is just cooking you from the ground up.
Yeah.
I can feel your pain there and stuff. Sorry, Arizona. It is a tough place to ride in the summer. So when is the ride? What's the date that the ride takes off?
So we started on the 15th of June.
Okay.
And we had till the 27th of June to finish.
This is not a cool time of the year.
No, but it's also the most sunlight of the year. And so we want to be, that's going to be the safest portion when you have more sunlight. So that's why it is, unfortunately, and the route of the race takes us through Southern California, the desert there, diagonally through Arizona and dips into Utah, all desert and all just brutally hot.
Mm-hmm. So I want to know I want to take time out right now just to say, where can you go to find most of the great videos and pictures and everything? Where should everybody go look?
Just do a Google search for Race Across America, and a bunch of stuff will pop up.
And they can search Erik, Erik.
Correct.
Newsholme,
Yep.
Newsholm.
E.
So, News.
HOLME.
Oh, I missed an E. Okay,
Yeah.
see, I'm glad I clarified. We'll get it right.
Yep.
So they can go search your name and
Yes.
find your journey. And did you have a blog, like your own blog, or do you have your own website or anything like that?
I had a Facebook page and wrote about it some. I need to do a lot better recap on the race because
Some people are just so larger than life they don't have time to tell their stories, right?
Well, the scope of this race and everything that went to it, and one of the things that I instruct my crew members to do is take pictures, take videos, take notes, because as we're out there riding, we don't take it all in. It's hard for us to grasp it all and keep that little tire on the white line for 3,000 miles.
So what are the big, what movie, like, are there some great documentaries or movies that people can watch for inspiration or kind of get a bigger picture? I mean, this has been going on long enough. Surely there's a documentary.
There's a few documentaries. One of the best ones is called Bicycle Dreams.
Yes.
And another one is about my friend Sarah Cooper, who was a 2017 women's winner.
Is that the one from Iowa?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was a documentary. We had a documentary crew with us, and hers was called Follow That Line.
Follow That Line.
Yep. And it's a really good 50-minute documentary. It's hard to put a 3,000-mile race into 50 minutes, but she did it. There's several others out there, but those are the two best ones that come to mind.
My mind is just exploding with 10 million different questions. We talk about how long will you listen to our podcast while you're driving wherever or watching? How long will you listen for? Because I feel like we're only scratching the surface. And so what do you think? Like, what are some of the big stories that you want to tell from your journey, or what as a witness to this journey?
Oh yeah. So, obviously you see the shirt here. And I don't
show
know.
Me the shirt.
This is the shirt. So
where should we show the shirt, Dave?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, perfect.
And so this shows the route. And one of the cool things about this shirt that I want to talk about is Erik actually gave these out when we were in Temecula getting ready for the race. And, he was just preparing us, and he was telling us, hey, this is the amount of miles we're going to go. This is the amount of hours, we've got to finish this race, and just really prepared us for a crew from a mental standpoint. And for me, it was a very familiar situation because of my military background. So in the military and boot camp, you're asked, you put, 50 guys in a troop together, right? Don't know each other from Adam. And now you're expected to operate together as a team as soon as you get hit in the ground. That's one of those key teaching things from the military. And this was very similar to that. You had people coming from all over the country, different backgrounds. Some knew each other, some didn't. And they had to come together for one common purpose and one common goal, and to figure out how to do that and make that all work together. And you got all these different personalities and all the different things you can imagine getting ready for this big event. And so, Erik's talk right before we left, I think, was a key critical moment. Just to kind of get us focused and locked in. There were some scary moments, talk about the heat in Arizona. Coming out of Prescott, it was so hot when Erik was doing a climb that they actually took him off the bike and they put him in a lawn chair and they surrounded him with ice. And I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I was like, is he going to get heat exhaustion? Is this guy going to die on me or what? This is my friend here, right? And so, and so there's just a lot of those kind of things going on. One of the things that was super helpful for me, though, is before the race, we did 2 training rides. We went with Erik and his wife and my wife, Tiffany, and we followed Erik up to Breckenridge and did a ride. And then we did a ride over to Pagosa and stayed the night in Pagosa, and then came back the next day and actually rode part of the course. So you kind of learning some of the protocol, some of the things, the do's and the don'ts, and things that can cause time penalties and stuff like that. So just learning that ahead of time, because I had zero experience with this. It was funny when Erik mentioned me, I was like, what's RAAM? So, having that experience with Erik ahead of time was just critical, right?
So.
Yeah, I know. Now you recite RAAM like it's just nothing, like everybody knows, right? He's like, you got to interview my friend who finished RAAM. I'm like, And I'm like, oh, I know Erik. I know that guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've met him before. I don't know.
No.
I was thinking about how you put a gang together, like all the great bank robbery movies and everything, like
Right.
Ocean's 12, and you've got all your little characters and everything that all play their critical role and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So what are some of the roles that might surprise? Like, what are some of the roles, the different crew roles?
Well, obviously, it starts with, like Erik was talking about, a company is your chief operations officer, which is your crew leader. And for us was Steve. And Steve did a great job figuring out the crews. We had 5 on the night and 5 on the day. Okay. And then figuring out all the different pieces, because we were crashing in hotels.
Oh, yeah, because you guys don't stay awake the whole time.
Yeah, right.
They got to sleep.
And so coordinating all of that, we have obviously walkie-talkies, so we were talking, and they would say, hey, we need you guys to go get ice. Erik needs ice, or we need more protein powder or whatever. A lot of it's on board, but in a journey like that, a lot of times there's some restocking that has to go to place. He's got to do changes. He's got to change his clothes, right?
Right.
He's got to put his balm on so his butt doesn't get raw, right? I mean, there's all that stuff, right?
I want to know, what balm do you use?
Yeah.
I was just sitting there repackaging my Twisted Spoke chamois butter at the airport because it was in a 4-ounce container, and I was not going to go right across the Florida Keys without my special thing. So I know it's a big deal. So what do you use?
So I had 4.5-pound tub of bag balm, and that's been my go-to forever. And but it literally it's a 4.5-pound tub of this stuff, and I had 2 of those things for the race.
I believe it. Every time you stop, right? I mean, yeah. Every time you stop, all over the place. What is the technique? Like, do you just put it in your chamois, or do you put it all over and in your chamois?
Everywhere.
See, I always want to know. Nobody really talks about that.
No,
it
became a running joke, and I had one crew member, Sarah, who she said, I'm not touching that stuff, and we've got pictures of her with her hands, the glove in it, and stuff like that. So but I mean, through training, the tush becomes kind of hard enough. I mean, and
I know everybody talks about getting hard in the saddle.
Well, it's just you get used to it, and I mean, so my training years were much like professional. Tour de France people. I had years that were 18,000, 21,000, 18,000. The year I did it, 15,000 miles on the bike in a year.
Wow.
Okay, and so my training rides, you asked about that, they were daily 100-mile bike rides. The training ride that James was on, I went from Falcon to the top of Hoosier Pass in one shot.
Wow. So that's what I wanted to know. So you're from Colorado Springs now.
Yes.
So did you come right from Austin? Was it Austin that you said?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. So you came from Atlanta. How was your training there how was training there or anywhere else compared to Colorado? I mean,
the altitude.
We want to promote Colorado riding because, right, we're the bicycle resort. We're telling everybody that you got to come here because this is some of the best training ground in the world. But it is the altitude advantage, right?
Well, I mean, so Wolf Creek Pass is 10,870 feet. And the first 2 times I did the race, I had severe altitude sickness by the time I got to Levita. And because I live at 7,000 feet and I train at 9,000 and above, your body is just naturally doping. It's what's called natural blood doping, okay? And that's why a lot of the pros do it the same way. And if you're doing an event, and so when I came out of the bed in Durango and went to Wolf Creek Pass, it was one of the best climbs I had on that climb ever.
You definitely had the advantage.
And that was another interview that the RAAM media did, and that one went huge, strong viral, over 10,000 views, because it just took the progression up the hill. And I had my crew was there, I had other people there cheering me on. It was rainy, it was kind of misty, rainy, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful climb. And 12 hours earlier, I had been in a hospital, thinking I was out, and here I am climbing the tallest climb on the course.
That almost makes me want to cry. Holy cow. That's very emotional.
Yeah. And
wow.
so we get to the top. There's the Continental Divide. Everybody gets their picture there real quick. And then, quick like a bunny, I'm redressing and shoot down the bottom side and truck across all the way to Fort Gordon, which was my next sleep.
I can't wait to go watch that video. Where's that one? It's on the RAAM.
Yes,
It's on the RAAM YouTube page, and you can just search your name.
Yeah.
I gotta go see that.
Yeah, it's
okay,
cool stuff.
I'm jazzed.
It's cool. It's pretty epic stuff, and so, and then Wolf Creek Pass, Levita Pass, Kachira Pass. Those are three big iconic climbs here. People compare to the Tour de France. Well, the highest in the Tour de France is the Galibier at 8,600 feet. So we're 2,000 feet higher in the race across America. And the Wolf Creek Pass, I do that on the fourth day with 1,000 miles on my legs, and I've had maybe 4.5 hours of sleep.
I just can't even, I don't even know. How many people do this race annually?
Typically there's
start.
There's typically it's 40.
I did tear up a little bit there. I'm just being honest.
No. Yeah, it happens.
Have you ever seen me, Dave, lean in so much to an interview? I don't know if I've ever leaned in towards the table like, oh my gosh.
Typically there's 40 to 50 on the roster of solos, and then the teams of 2, 4, and 8 person. So there's about 150 RAAM racers coming across the country. The year I did it in 21, first post-pandemic race, and it's an international race, and about 50% of the field usually shows up. Well, they couldn't make it because we didn't know we had a race till the 8th of May of 21. We had 5 weeks to prepare. So at that point, I'm booking airline flights for my crew because I got to get 10 people to California. My rental vehicles, all this big structure that you need preparing for this big race. We couldn't do it because of the pandemic.
Yeah, you didn't know it was going to
We didn't know. And also they had an alternate start site of Las Vegas. So we didn't know we were going to start. If we're going to start. And so not only is it the toughest bicycle race in the world, but you throw the pandemic and the protocols that were installed because of the pandemic really up the bar. And so there were some things we didn't get to do in Oceanside and Annapolis that normally some social things because of the distancing. So it was really a much different feel to the race. And so we were there for one purpose and one purpose only. It was to get me safely across the country to finish my journey. And then we picked up a few little prizes along the way.
I want to see those.
Yes. And, truly was just an awe. I mean, when I was up on the podium,
Did you cry?
I didn't cry.
Okay.
There were lots of tears along the way, but the final escorted portion of the race is 4.5 miles. And just that journey and the finality of it. And then when I realized I was going to be the winning male in the American, I had one of my crew members, Jason Overbaugh, who is a Marine. I said, go get me an American flag. And so it was very important to me to wear the nation's colors across the finish line as the first American winner since 2003.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's the flag that's sitting on the table over here.
That's amazing. Can we see that? I don't know if it's hiding back there too much. So, So we have all his awards behind him. So tell me about this. So this is the American flag you wore across the finish line. Yeah. I'll let you hold it.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
So again, it became apparent I was going to win the men's side, and the history of the race. Again, there's only 10 Americans who've won the men's side. And so that was very symbolic to me. I had a couple of crew members who were in the military, and it's the one way that I can show appreciation and honor the men and women who are willing to lay it on the line for all of us to do the things that we do. And this is the only way I could honor that for them. And so I wore the nation's colors across the finish line, and now I keep it in this with me all where I go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other medals?
So not only that, but so this is my jersey.
And this is the one that only few people get? Yes, the solo finisher jersey.
So you have to earn this.
Yes.
You can't buy this. There's only 367.
Can you see it, Dave? Yeah, good.
There's only 367 of these since the start of the race.
Okay. 367.
And
67.
Yeah. Only 367 people can actually have earned this jersey.
Wow.
Okay.
And 10 Americans.
And only 10 Americans who have won the men's side.
Yeah, won the men's side, okay.
Yeah. And only one person from Colorado Springs
Yeah, that's you.
It's me.
And that's you. That's amazing. I'm so glad. That's amazing.
So that's a pretty special jersey.
But you haven't worn it.
No.
It still has the tag on it.
Yes.
Are you going to frame that?
Yes. I will
Okay.
frame it, yeah.
You're going to frame it. And then your other awards?
Oh, yeah. So this is the award for winning my age group, but also winning the entire men's division.
Race across America,
The entire
Oceanside.
country. This is my course. This is my race course.
Oceanside, California to Annapolis, Maryland.
Yep.
First place, solo male, 50 to 59. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then, what are all these other beautiful glass ones?
So this one is the Pete Panzier's. He, in 1986, he set the record crossing the country a little over 8 days. Was broken in 2013 by Christoph Strasser. But this award is for the fastest male across the country. And I was 11 days and 18 hours and 28 minutes to cross the country, a 1 hour penalty. So it's actually 11 days, 19 hours officially. But this is an award given to the fastest male across the country.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Next one. Which one? You want the King of the Prairies?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
King of the Prairies, the fastest male across the Colorado, Kansas, all the prairies and stuff like that, which is brutal crosswinds and stuff like that. We go all the way through Kansas. King of the Mountains. So I was the fastest male through all the mountain sections of the country.
That's incredible.
And the Yuri Robic Award. So Yuri Robic is a 5-time winner of the Race Across America, a very famous Slovakian. And this is given to the person who does the fastest time in the toughest section of the course, was actually from Cumberland, Maryland to Hancock, Maryland. And ironically, Hancock, Maryland is where I DNF'd in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
DNF stands for?
Did not finish.
Did not finish. Okay.
Yeah. And this is my finisher, my solo finisher plaque.
Oh, that's amazing.
And there's just not too many of these. And the medal is fallen off, but this is the ribbon
that you actually got.
That I got for the 2021, finisher of the race.
So, if you could have an award named after you in the future, what would it be? Do you know? Have you thought about that?
Is finishing the journey is, because a lot of people, so about the toughest thing about this race is actually the decision to do the race. A lot of people think I'm going to do a 100-mile ride or something like that, but the Race Across America takes on a lot of responsibilities that you're telling yourself, your family, your friends, the world in ultra cycling and cycling in general, that you're going to cross the entire United States in 12 days.
Yeah.
And when you tell a lot of people out there, they look at you like you have 3 heads.
Yeah.
And so 99.9% of the people will say you can't do it. It's the 1% that 1/10 of 1% of people that I'm talking to say, I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that differentiates me from a lot of other people. And then when we started the race, we were in Temecula. One of my crew members had a house just northeast of Oceanside, and I handed everybody these T-shirts, and I said, "We're going to finish the journey that I started in 2015." One of the biggest things that as a racer tries to instill into their crew is selling them on their goals of the race, okay, and bringing them in so they will act as one to help me get across the country. And so finishing the journey, that's part of the speech that I gave the last time in Temecula, and I hit everybody in that room of 10 people, and everybody, they all gelled together and they came together as one.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big things. I think looking at awards for Erik would be like a overcomer award or something like that, because to fall short twice on an endeavor like that, I think would break most people. And the fact that he was actually able to get up and do it again that's inspirational. I mean, to think you're 180 miles from the finish, and you DNF'd, and then you came back for more a few years later. I mean, that shows a lot of fortitude, and I think that's special.
Do you know how many people do that?
What's it?
come back to try it again. Do you have any idea how many people come back to?
No, but
that sounds like a great award.
Well, it's
the person that comes back that doesn't give up. They finish the journey.
There's a really famous motivational speaker. Her name's Robin Benacasa, and that's one of her keynote speeches is don't be known for your setback, be known for your comeback.
Okay.
And so I had a setback of two times in the toughest race in the world, and then I came back and not only finished my journey, but won a truckload of awards. And the last one that I talk about as well is I'm the oldest person, male or female, to win an overall division because I was 56 when I finished.
Wow. That's incredible. Are you going to do it again?
No. I'm done. I ride for fun. I ride for fitness. There's nothing else I could get.
So can people book you to come speak? And are you doing like motivational talks?
That's on my radar this year.
Okay, so that's your goal now is to kind of get that story all together and be able to go share that.
Yeah.
So where would somebody contact you at if they want to book you to speak? I mean, like we'll help you get those bookings going, right?
They can get me right on my Facebook page,
Okay.
Erik Newsholme, and I can go from there, and I'll be working on that.
Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn at Erik Newsholme.
Okay.
Yes, and the top part of it is all my taglines about the race and all the stuff that I won and all all the challenges that we overcame during the race and those kind of things. But yeah, that's part of my 2024 plan.
So how do you think that the tenacity that it took to do this race carries over into your life? Like, what does that look like in your everyday life?
I do things that a lot of people say they can't do, and it's not really in my vocabulary because I've seen so many things. I'm 58 now, and I have a lot of life history, and I've seen a lot of people who have done amazing things with a lot of disabilities and those kind of things. And I look at people and I say, you can do whatever you want to do. It's the mind. If the mind is in play, you can do whatever the heck you want to. Okay. You just got to, set aside your social media, set aside society, set aside people telling you not to do, and listen to the voice inside. When this is a very key point. When I recruited the race in 2014, a bunch of knuckleheads from Atlanta, but I was trying to get them across and also recon the race for me. And a truck driver in Kansas just comes over and says, what is this all about? And I told him about the race, basically. But in my learning about the race and education about the race and then seeing these four individuals who had all the makings of exploding in Arizona and they actually finished, I said, to me, these are the true 1%ers of life. These are the true seekers. Because there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow as far as race across America is concerned. There's no big media storm. There's not a lot of people at the finish line cheering you on. It's everything is inside the racer, driving them towards something. Lance Armstrong, Good, Bad, or Indifferent, he's quoted in Bicycle Dreams movie, said ultra cyclists are either leaving something or going towards something. And that was the original two journeys were part of that transformation from one person to another person. The 2021 race was to see if I was one of the best cyclists in the world. I was the best male ultra cyclist in the world in 2021.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I can't wait to see where you're going to go next and where we can go watch you speak. I'm already thinking about the places that we can book you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that James was like, you got to talk to Erik. And, I met you a long time ago, but, I would imagine that you're just a pretty humble guy, just going back to normal, and you could live in this quiet existence. Like you said, there's no big hurrah and media coverage at the finish. And, but what an incredible story.
Yeah, you can usually find him just being pretty quiet with his spectacles on at the Black Forest Farmers Market, sharpening his knives. He's got a little booth there, and that's how he makes a living. So he's just back there, nobody really noticing who's this guy back there sharpening his knives. I mean,
so the race.
That seems like part of your story too. Yeah. Like that has to, whole sharpening the knives has to be
sponsored by Erik the Blade Sharpener.
Erik
that's
the
my
Blade
company.
That's incredible. So
then I was splashed across the country. as part of that deal. So it actually, another part of the race was promoting the mail order sharpening that I do.
So tell me about that. I mean, we should plug that for sure. It's on the back of your shirt. Tell me about Erik.
So I am a professional, mobile, custom, volume, efficient, one-on-one knife sharpener, scissor sharpener, serrated knife sharpener. I'm an all-in-one sharpener, and I'm one of the very few in the whole entire Colorado Springs area where people can get their knives sharpened by me, who's been doing this for over 30 years.
And so who are most of your customers?
I mean, I just booked 2 today. The Flying Horse Steakhouse.
Lodge at Flying Horse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the Cluckin' Chicken just over at Jack's, several commercial customers, but a lot of them, so residential people, homeowners, they don't have an outlet to do it. There's really hardly anybody to do it.
Right.
And so when the Black Forest Farmers Market started in 20, I went there. It's 10 minutes from my house, planted a flag. People started coming. And now I have a mobile service. I go around. I can make house calls, restaurant calls. People come by me. They come to markets. However, I make it easy for people to get their stuff sharpened professionally and properly.
I'm not surprised that you're an entrepreneur because, I mean, I think that, that what it takes to be a business owner of any kind is an extraordinary feat in itself as well. So what are some of the other, tell us where we should ride. If you're coming to Colorado or coming to Colorado Springs in particular, what are some of your favorite places to ride? Where are you riding right now in your just enjoyment of bicycling?
Well, I mean, obviously, we already talked about the open roads, and there seems in this country, and I've ridden in France, and I know what it's like over there. In this country, it seems like there's this war between the cars and the bikes.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's just stupid. But a lot of my rides, I rode from. A training ride would be from my house in Falcon to Lyman, down to Pumpkin Center, and back to my house, or Sedalia and back, or the top of Ute Pass, up the Divide and back, and there's up 105 and back.
What are some of your tips for staying safe out there?
Well, because I learned to ride in the city of Atlanta, where it's a lot more complex than it is here. Mm-hmm. I'm very used to cars being close to me. Mm-hmm. I've had tractor trailers throw their trailer at me. I've had people come across the road at me. I've had people jump the curb at me and stop me and stuff like this. So, but you have to be very comfortable with your machine. And I see a lot of people aren't comfortable with the machine, and they're uncomfortable with the machine being their bicycle, and then trying to mix it up with cars, and it doesn't mix. So my first suggestion is become very comfortable with riding on bike paths, riding on safe areas. Mm-hmm. And then once that comfort level comes up, then you're out there on the road and you're riding where you're supposed to be riding. Learn the laws as well as it pertains to a bicycle.
And a car, anticipating something happening. You're anticipating that somebody's going to pass you and turn right in front of you.
Yes.
Or get in their lane.
You learn, what cars are doing and stuff like that, and anticipate it. Unfortunately,
what are you wearing? What do you wear when you go out and ride?
I wear a normal kit.
Okay.
I have, in the Race Across America, the entire bike has got reflective tape on it.
Okay.
That would be any vertical surface that's
mm-hmm.
looking back, that increases the visibility of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of mirrors and like that because it distracts the rider.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're paying attention to what's going on behind you, you're not paying attention to what's in front of
mm-hmm.
you. And in case in point, a couple years ago during the race, the lead male was coming down into Alamosa, and he was getting a bottle handoff where the crew member is doing a bottle handoff, and he's paying attention to the bottle handoff, and there was something in the road, and he ended up crashing and breaking his collarbone, and he was out of the race.
What do you think about bottle handoffs?
Well, if
is that what you do?
Yes.
Do you do that? You do that.
Oh yeah.
But you just have to be careful.
You have to be. We have the crew member either standing on the side, or at night they're out of a moving vehicle. Okay, and so it can get exciting.
Yeah.
But and there's some other things that can get exciting, but a lot of stuff at night. If you need stuff, they're handing it through the window of the car. Okay, and so there's a lot of trust I as a racer, I have to trust this guy to do implicitly what he's going to do. Okay, and that's it's hard to do that when everybody's just coming together for the first time in Temecula, California. And I mean, like you said, everybody's coming from around the country. They knew each other, didn't know each other. All of a sudden, my biggest job is building their crew chemistry, because they got to work together seamlessly for 12 days to keep my butt safe and fed and hydrated and all that kind of stuff. So 68 gallons of water is what I drank. Over 120,000 calories worth of food I ate.
That's incredible.
Crazy, huh?
I would not survive that diet. I'd explode in a different way.
Just a little bit of a different trivia there, but yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that, as he was already in great shape, but as he rode across the country, especially as we started to get closer and closer to Maryland, you could see in his legs and the muscles just trimmed down even more, because his body was so tuned, and it was just really interesting to see. He actually, even with 10,000 calories a day, he's losing weight.
How much weight did you lose?
It was about 10, 15 pounds.
10, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's when you're doing you've done a couple of 100-mile rides. You've done RAAM.
Yeah.
Okay. So Race Across America is equal to 6 RAAM.
I know.
Okay. All right.
That's a lot.
So in a typical Century 100-mile.
And I'm not trying to set a record.
No, no, but for the average Century rider, they'll go through, say, 3,000 to 4,000 or 5,000 calories, and they won't drink enough, so they'll be on the verge of dehydration at the end of it. But they're cool, they get to recover and stuff like that. I can never get dehydrated. I can never get malnourished. I can't allow my electrolytes to get off. We had numbers that the caretaker knew, and if I was off, they were making changes so I would stay in balance the entire race.
Wow. What else do I need to know? There's so much.
Well, and there's another cool story is I think we're in Indiana, maybe even further down the road. I can't remember, but you could tell Erik was starting to suffer from some sleep deprivation, and so he was really struggling. And one of the things that you had mentioned when we were having the crew meeting in Temecula, you said something about I think it was the amount of hours. How many hours did we have to complete the race?
288. 288
hours. And so, he's really struggling, and I'm in the follow vehicle, and I've got the thing, and we're talking, and he's just like, man, he's just kind of really almost out of it a little bit. And I'm like, Erik, and he's like, what? And I was like, what did you tell me in Temecula? And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, you said 288. We got 288 hours to get this done, right? He goes, right. And then it was kind of like his mind kind of locked in. He did a couple shuffles on the bike, yelled a couple times to kind of wake himself up. And so those are some of the experiences you have while you're out there on the road, where as your crew, you're trying to think, okay, how do I get in this guy's head and say the right thing that's going to kind of pop him back in, because he's obviously not getting enough sleep. He's exhausted and all the things that go with that. So as a crew, you're always trying to manage a lot of that, right?
Say back from the things that he said to you.
Yeah, right.
How did Erik inspire you? How have you been changed from this journey?
Oh, I think two things. I mentioned it earlier. It's just never giving up, right? Just even if you're going to fall short, just get back up, right? I mean, that's a lot of life. Get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. That's what we hear,
they
right?
They even made a song about that.
Right. and I think the other part is and Erik would joke about it ahead of time. He'd say, "Oh, RAAM's going to change you." I'm like, whatever, but it does. It changes you because you're so focused on this one task of getting him across the line for this race, and you're so focused on someone else and taking care of them that you kind of forget about everything. You guys ever have those moments where you're doing an activity and everything kind of gets quiet and you kind of get into that zone? You're kind of in that for that time period, and you kind of have to force yourself. So it expands your mind in a very different and unique way. So I always tell people, you want to change your life and do something different, do RAAM, because it'll expand your mind on what's possible, right?
I think you should come do Ragbri with us this year.
What is Ragbri?
It's a 7-day ride across the state of Iowa.
Oh.
So we go, I think it's about 450 miles this year. It's actually across the lower part of the state. They do different sections of the state each year, top, middle, bottom. This year it's across the bottom. So it's actually kind of a hillier ride. So we have some big climbs involved in that. But they're usually pretty short days and stuff. But we basically just bike and eat and drink and go to concerts and then stay at some local Iowans place. Like we get host homes and stuff that host our stay. I have a van support crew that come. I think that would be a good next journey for you.
Yeah, when
you can
is
just
that?
have your wife drive our van for us. We need a van driver for this year.
Oh,
so,
cool.
I mean, you could always come and just drive the van, check it out this year, and then, ride with it. I mean, now that I know that you're support crew, maybe you could crew.
He's got experience.
Maybe you could come crew for us if you don't want to do it. But we are looking for a van driver this year to join our team. It's the last full week in July. So I think it is July 19th through 20th. Well, we leave on the 19th. So I think that the expo might be on the 20th and we start riding on the 21st. So it's 20,000 people riding across the state of Iowa. They closed down. I think most of our roads are all closed down and everything. But we're in the movie about the 50-year anniversary of it. So you have to come. Maybe that would be a fun thing for you to do is actually go on a joyride across the state where you just drink, eat, and be merry.
Just promote cycling.
Just promote cycling. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk more
All right,
about this.
let's talk more.
I also have to give a shout out to James because, we always talk about how we love our moonshine and we love our beer. Erik's not doing this with us, but we always love our podcast powered by moonshine from 300 Days of Shine. And it just so happens that James is the rep for 300 Days of Shine. I'm like, we need a sponsorship deal here.
Right?
Now. I mean, you heard it here, come on. You might be able to talk to them, twist their arm a little bit.
No, I think it'd be cool.
It's a good show. It's a good show. So who would you most like to inspire? Like, if you're going to take the show on the road, tell everybody what you've learned about life through this journey. Who would you most like to inspire?
Well, I had, obviously a famous quote is, I'd like somebody to say, because of you, I got up and did what I could do for myself. A lot of people, when they get to 50, their society says you got a toe in the ground and you just need to give up. The people in their 40s and 50s, when they're looking, they've taken care of their kids, they're taking care of a lot of life's journeys and stuff like that. But you need something, you need something to just go for it. And the message is you can do that. Don't listen to everybody else. Get out there and, get your butt off the couch. You can get in shape and do whatever you want to do in life, okay? Enjoy it. And that's to be inspired is great, but to inspire is epic. And along the way, along this journey, I've had a lot of followers. When they're in the 21 race, they kept telling me all these people following me and all this kind of stuff. Social media got bigger, and they just kept telling me about all these stories and reading these things, stuff like that, following my journey, and then people were doing whatever it was for them. One of my best stories is early on when I was riding in Atlanta, and I was kind of a knucklehead and stuff like that, and I finally got into the group riding scene, but I couldn't keep up with the A ride, but I found the B ride, which was the wives and the ladies of who were, his husbands were in the A ride, and I learned to ride with these ladies. I actually learned what group riding was about, and it was fun, it was interesting, and I learned the language of riding. And after the 15 race, and I was licking my wounds a little bit, but I went to a local century and I saw one of the original ladies. And she was a school teacher at the time, and she decided to be a lawyer. So she went to law school. Now she's a lawyer. And then, because I hadn't seen her for a while, but she's back on the bike. And she said to me, because of you and your training and all that, she said, I got back on the bike and I did what I could do for myself. I said, that's the best message I could say. Do what you can for yourself. Don't look at me and say, I can never do a 3,000-mile bike race. I said, I'm not asking you to do that. But what I am asking you to do is use your body and your mind to the fullest extent you can, and give yourself credit. Don't limit yourself. Never limit yourself to what other people are telling you, or for family or society or anything like that. Don't ever limit yourself.
Because there are a lot of people that do tell you why you can't.
Yes.
And, and I also know a lot of people that they set their sights on what they think they can attain versus what they want to hit. And, I always think about, in biking, especially when I learned how to mountain bike, that you hit what you're aiming for. And so you don't want to look at the rock in the road. You want to look at where you want to go.
Right.
And you should set your sights high, and aim high. You don't want to aim low. You're not going to hit the high. Hit what you want to, hit. And that's how I built my dreams and so many others. That's really the key is aim high.
Is set
and
the bar
believe.
high. I mean, and so in cycling, Race Across America is about the highest bar you can set, especially in it started with the solos. Solos are the rock stars of the race. The team version didn't start till 1992. So if you are a solo finisher of the Race Across America, because I'm one of them, you're pretty good.
Well, I can't wait to see what's next.
Yep.
So are you part of a bike group here? You want to join mine?
Yeah, I mean that was
we
one
have
of
the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe. We ride every Saturday out of the lodge.
That was one of the things. Like during the pandemic, we had no group riding or like that. I used to do the Acacia ride, but it really is not a group. It's just a whole bunch of hammerheads that just get together and knock it out. I was part of the riding scene a lot more in Atlanta. It was more social there. Here, I've just been more solo. The races solo and stuff like that, and really haven't had a chance to be in the riding scene here.
Well, and you're probably working too much at the times that everybody else is riding. You're down at the Black Forest Market, right?
I'm at the Black Forest Market. I'm at the Parker Market right now. I'm at the Park Union Market. I'm at the Woodland Market. I'm at the Parker Market, or people are coming by me, or I'm going to them. So What's
the website for finding you for the knife sharpening?
ErikTheBlade.com. ErikTheBlade.com.
ErikTheBlade.com.
Yes.
Dave, did we get everything? We got everything.
Good.
There's more. There's 10 million stories, but you can start following Erik. Watch for where you're going to be speaking on the scene. We'll let you know. Maybe we should have you come and do or we could connect you with Up a Downa. They do these adventures on tap where people come and share their stories. I would love to do something like that with you, or have you come share your journey at the lodge. We've had people that have done journeys where they come and show their slideshow and everything of their trip along the Grand Canyon or anything, and we have a little fire outside and got the movie theater. So we should talk about what we can do next. I think that would be fun.
Well, I mean, I have a compilation of pictures from 3 different, 5 different Race Across Americas, because I crewed it twice, and also Race Across the West, where I crewed my 2 friends. Race Across the West is the first portion up to Durango. So there's 6 different times across the country, video, pics, stories, endless stories. There's a lot of life-changing stuff in the race. Okay,
last thing, I'm going to get it out of you. What is your favorite place in Colorado Springs that people should go and ride? Not just a little ride. Where's your favorite little slice of Colorado Springs to go and ride? Where shouldn't you miss?
You shouldn't miss Garden of Gods.
Absolutely, which is like a half mile from
the Buffalo.
So
if you start at the Buffalo Lodge and go to the Garden of Gods,
there you go.
There's always something different there, and also that would be my starting spot to do Pikes Peak.
Yes, it's a great spot to start Pikes Peak.
Yes.
Other than there is a little bit of a windy road with some blind curves going up Highway 24. So
that's a little bit of a comfort level that I have over a lot of the people.
Most people don't have. I would maybe recommend. I did ride up Pikes Peak once with my 13-year-old son and my 11-year-old son when they did it on unicycles.
Right.
So I did do the road, the 19, and we started at the gate. But if you're Erik, start down at the Buffalo Lodge. Otherwise, we might, you could get a Buffalo Lodge shuttle to the gate and do that. But thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to have you on this show.
Thank you,
Erik. Thank you, James, so much.
It was great. It was fun.
Huge props. And thank you guys for listening and watching the Pedal the Springs podcast. What do I want to say? I have my little notes now. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the things we talked about about today. Also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to check out the other fine podcasts at studio809podcast.com, your local voices of the Pikes Peak region. Pedal the Springs podcast is produced by Studio 809 and recorded at the Next Us Studios, a professional cooperative environment for small businesses in downtown Colorado Springs. Pedal the Springs is brought to you by the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort, the only bicycle-themed lodging and must-stay for cyclists coming to Colorado. Check us out at bicycleresort.com for more information.